It happens. You're one speaker in a lineup of many. You want to ensure your messages stick. If only there was a magic formula. And there is. The magic lies in the number 3. Folk wisdom says good things come in threes. We see it in art. 3 primary colors. The rule of 3 in photography. Literature. 3 musketeers. 3 blind mice. The lion, the witch, and the wardrobe. Think of memorable speeches. Lincoln. Of the people. By the people. For the people. Shakespeare's Caesar. Friends. Romans. Countrymen. The environment. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Now that was burned into my brain as a kid. Or maybe you've even taken Duarte's Captivate workshop. Does comfortable, dynamic, and empathetic ring a bell to you? So this rule of 3, it's a principle, and it is as old as ancient Greece and Aristotle's ethos, pathos, and logos. So it is no coincidence that memorable messages, these come in 3s, and that is a sweet spot for audiences' retention. Now, you might have heard about Miller's magical number 7, but most recent research suggests that when it comes to our working memory, most people can only remember 3 or 4 things at a time, maybe 5. So here's what I advise as a general rule to all my clients. To capture your full audience's attention and ensure memorability, presentations should aim for 3 main points. Now 2 is good, 5 is good, but when you go beyond those parameters, it becomes really difficult for the audience to remember, and those things eventually drop off their brain. So think about it. After listening to a presentation, you usually get distracted. You have to answer an email or jump into another meeting, or you've got these wild kids and pets you're trying to wrangle. That's a lot of cognitive overload in contemporary life. So if you want to ensure retention, try organizing 3s to help with recall. But I got 6, I got 8, I got 10 things to cover, you say. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you chop off some of your messages. Instead, we're going to use a technique we call chunking. Here's another example. Tell me your phone number. I mean, just say it out loud right now to yourself. Go. Okay, now if I had to make a guess, I'm going to guess what you did not do is say something like 90928373008. No, that's usually not how we give our number when someone asks for our phone number. It's really hard to remember that. My guess is you probably said something like 909-283-7308, because those 10 digits were just chunked into 3 categories. And there it is again, our magic number 3. That same logic applies to your presentation. So if you've got 10 things, you don't gotta cut 7 of them out. All you have to do is chunk them together. So if your presentation had market trends, product announcements, customer case studies, emerging data, product demos, challenges and problems, a market plan, a timeline, customer quotes, and results from a focus group. That's a mouthful. But I'm with you. That's all essential information for your presentation. So you could take those 10 elements and put them into 3 broader categories or topics to make it easier for your audience to remember your key takeaways. So let's say we took those 10 and instead we put them under the categories of why there's a need, what we're doing to answer the need, how we'll launch this new product. What are other ways you could structure your message using the rule of 3? Here are a few of the simple organizational patterns you could consider. The one I see most often is topical, and that's where you just sort your talk into 3 overarching categories, and then you're able to capture all you want to cover. Now, admittedly, a topical structure can be a little basic, so if you're looking to make your presentation more interesting, try one of these. Chronological, where you organize your talk in terms of the past, the present, and the future. Or sequential, where you're arranging the information in accordance to some process or step-by-step sequence. Or there is the traditional triad, problem, cause, solution. All of these are great options. But when you stick with 3, you are setting yourself up for success. Now, why do we recommend this? Because presentations don't happen in a vacuum. Regardless of whether your intent is to inform or persuade, you want your audience to do something with your message, and that means you need them to remember it. They need to remember it so that they can apply what you just shared with them. Or maybe they need to remember it because they need to disseminate it and share it with others. Maybe stakeholders or advocates or decision makers. Maybe you want them to take your idea and help evangelize it. So here's a challenge. Look back at your last presentation. How could you organize it into 3? Could you think of more than one way to organize it? And consider your purpose, the audience, the occasion. All of that's going to help you determine the best approach. It really is as simple as 1, 2, 3. So next time you are scheduled to deliver a presentation, remember that 3 is the magic number. And afterwards, you'll be able to proclaim, Veni Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered.